Planet of the Fakes for Kids and Pig Star HH News. Shout out to King Travis. In soft sciences like sociology, it's much more difficult to detect manipulation of research than in hard sciences like physics. Soft science researchers, who strive for objectivity, deserve an extra measure of respect. Sadly, far too many researchers are more concerned with pushing an agenda than with objectivity. These same problems are not unknown in the world of journalism, since the soft sciences and the media have a powerful influence on social policies in this country. This affects every family and every individual. Is about the broken science that's being used to create law and drive social policy. 71% of children killed by one parent are killed by their mothers. 60% of victims are boys. In 1994, Susan Smith's murder of her sons, Michael and Alex, made national headlines for months. A couple of factors explain why the Susan Smith case received such high-profile coverage. One factor was Smith's overt racism. Smith initially made up a story about having been carjacked by an African-American man in order to explain the disappearance of her sons. The media, all too ready to believe her horror story, had made it front-page news all over the country. Having covered the story of the carjacking and the boy's disappearance for 9 days, the media couldn't easily drop the story when it was discovered that Smith had actually strapped her 3-year-old and 1-year-old sons into their car seats, and then driven her car into a lake to drown them. Furthermore, when it came out that Smith's reason for killing the boys was because she dreamed of marrying a wealthy man who had told her he had no interest in ready-made family, the resulting revulsion by the general public helped sell newspapers and increase media ratings. But when a mother murders her children, it's rare for the news media to react with such high-profile coverage. It's far more common for the press to do high-profile news stories on murdering fathers like Manuel Goering, who in 2003 killed his children and buried them off an interstate in Ohio, or Ma R.K. Castillo, who in 2008 drowned his children in a Baltimore hotel room bathtub before attempting to take his own life. TV shows and movies likewise hardly ever tell stories of abusive mothers or mothers who kill their children, leaving the viewing public with the misimpression that fathers are greater danger to their children than mothers. TV shows and movies are also far more likely to portray girls as victims of maltreatment than boys. However, data from the U.S. Dept. of Health and Human Services (DHS) tells a completely opposite story regarding who abuses children. The DHS publishes an annual report called Child Maltreatment, and each year's report contains a table detailing the parental status of the perpetrators. Shown below is an analysis of data drawn from the child abuse and neglect and the child fatality tables from each of the DHS child maltreatment reports between 2001 and 2006. The DHS calculates the percentages of perpetrators in various categories, such as mother, father, foster parent, daycare staff, friend, or neighbor, etc. The percentages are often used to argue whether, on average, it is fathers or mothers that pose a great risk of harm to their children. But when trying to determine which parent, on average, poses the greater danger, categories like foster parent, daycare staff, friend or neighbor, etc. are entirely irrelevant. The calculations below factor out those categories to produce a more accurate picture. The resulting calculations show the percentage of child abuse and deaths caused by one